All right. Well, welcome everyone to Social Media 101. As I mentioned earlier, the way that we come across these topics is based on feedback of people who wants to know how we do things, and we do this to help solopreneurs and startups and MSMEs and up and coming, business folks looking to learn new things so that they know how to do it for themselves. And today I'm very happy to have Akash, who his nickname is Sky, by the way. It means the same thing, I think, from his native language to English. Sky this is going to be his first webinar with Brand Now. He's been working with us now for quite a while, so I'm excited for him to have a speaking role. So I'm doing a little introduction for you. Sky began his journey in his early teens by digitizing his family traditional business and moving to operate a thriving e-commerce operation before expanding his expertise to working with multiple agencies. He's now been with us about 5 years, half of it behind the scene and the last couple of years more in front of the scene. He is head of digital and the marketing manager. He works alongside me to develop marketing strategies, digital marketing campaigns, and managing the team and more. So let's give Mr. Sky a warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here. So today we'll be talking about getting started with social media. Why is it important? And so on and so forth. So we'll be covering three main things here today. The first one being why social media matters. We'll give you a lot of stats and data globally, as well as in Thailand. And this followed by that, we'll be talking about how to choose the right social media platform for you, your personal brand, or your business. Then we'll talk about how can we get started with content creation, some of the tips and tricks. And lastly, we'll give you some tips on how to stay consistent on creating those content. And we'll end this webinar with a Q&A. So first and foremost is why is social media very important in today's day and age? More than half of the population. We have almost 8 billion people, 5.24 billion people are in social media platform. And the interesting fact about that is more than 2.5 hours is spent on social media every day. That's counting up to 1 hour, 43 minutes. Now we know that most people are in social media and they are using social media every day. However, these two numbers are very important for a business and a personal brand. If you're talking about a business that is highly B2C, we need to know what is the trends that are going on in the market. And usually social media is a key driver for those trends. Like you can see in this data in the screen, 90% of social media is to track different trends. That said, in today's day and age, we as consumer go to different social media platforms just to validate if a business is real or not. It's not like in the past, you just Google it and buy it. But nowadays, people go back, do a Google sniff on you, they they search your brand or even you in different social media platforms just to check if you are doing what you are saying you're doing or what you're selling is legitimate. That said, these are the different social media platforms that people uses globally. You can see most people are, this is data as of 2024. So a lot of people are using TikTok as a key platform on day-to-day basis, almost spending an hour, hour and a half in day-to-day basis. The numbers you see in the screens are a monthly recurring numbers. The top three platforms you see are TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. But does this mean you guys need to be focusing on just TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook? Not necessarily. There are a lot of different platforms, and each of these different platforms have different purposes. So this is some of the data based on Thailand. So average time spent per month in Thailand, you can see the social media uh, platform, they switch places, but still they are the top three: YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Most of Thai people spend a lot of time on YouTube. Uh, when we talk about YouTube, YouTube is a long form content creation. I mean, content consumption, whereas TikTok and Facebook goes towards a shorter form of content creation. This still does not give you guys a clear idea on which platform to choose. Yes, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook are very popular platform in this market, but still there is not enough evidence for you guys to be, okay, I'm going to start creating a YouTube channel and start creating content on YouTube or TikTok or even Facebook. The way we choose the right platform is not targeting everybody. We start with targeting the key audience or target audience. Some business also often call this ICPs, which is uh, very important for a business to understand what kind of customers they are targeting. And the way we target or classify this audience is through segmentation. And segmentation is broken down into four different parts. The first one is demographic. It's all about the general stuff. It's about the age, gender, income, education, occupation, family size. So these are some of the, and you guys will often see this happening for most of the business. Most of the business, when they do their marketing campaign, even online or offline, they focus on demographic and geographic. We'll focus more on the other two as well. So the demographic gives you guys a key insight on what kind of audience you guys are targeting. What is the generation? What is the disposable income they have? What kind of education they have? So based on this information, you can understand what kind of language to choose, what kind of platform to choose. We'll give you more information about platforms used by each generation later now. That said, geographic. Uh, Geographic is all about population, location, language, climate. When I say climate, it could be broken down into two parts. It could be business climate as well as the climate in general, depending on what kind of product or service you guys are selling. So based on this geographic in itself, you can see if you come to Asia or Southeast Asia, you'll see a lot of people using Line as a communication method or WhatsApp as communication method. But if you guys go back to the Western world, you'll see a lot of people communicating through emails or iMessage or any other different social media platforms. So this is also a key driving factor on choosing which is the right platform for you or your business. Then we dive into psychographic. Most business ignore these factors, but it's very important. And marketing is 80%, 90% psychology anyways. When we look at the psychographic, it's all about the customer side of things, the value a customer has, the lifestyle they live, uh, the interests and attitudes that they have, and as well as some opinions about different topics. Uh, they could be a gym freak or they could be a couch potato. The lifestyle, even if you're targeting the same uh, audience bracket, the psychographic segments it much more deeper. Let's say if you're targeting a college going student trying to get a job. So that can be also further down segmented into different parts, like students that are more active versus students are not that active, and so on and so forth. This also gives you guys a clear idea on what kind of platform should you be in. Should you be in a platform that's more vocal, for example, X, or should you be in other platform where they suppress the democracy of free speech? That said, this is more towards consumer as well. Behavior graphic is more about how your consumer behave. What kind of customer journey do they like? How price sensitive they are in the market? How loyal they are to each brand or not. You often see brands, for example, an Apple, right? They build an ecosystem where consumer have to be loyal to a certain degree, because now you have an iPod, Apple laptop, then you have an iPhone. The switching cost increases. So you need to understand how that works in the social media platform as well. So just to sum it up in terms of the segmentation of your target audience, we do it through demographic, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral graphic. If you guys have any question, we'll put it in the chat, or if you can read it out, we'll do a Q&A at the end of the session.
Can I add?
Yes.
Can I check something? So
Yep.
just to let you know, I know some people may just be listening in and maybe you're not at a place where you can ask a question. Feel free to type it into the chat and then I will read them out when we get into the Q&A section. Also, we like to encourage everyone to network who comes to our online or physical events. So if you want to share your LinkedIn profile, feel free to do so as well. Again, two things. You can type in your questions if you're at a place where you can't turn on your mic to speak, or you're at work and just listening in. And also, if you like to network, share your LinkedIn profile.
These are different stats that we have gathered. This is based on Thailand. So you can see at the bottom, there are a lot of different age groups. So we have segmented out into Gen X, millennials, Gen Ys, baby boomers, and so on. So the orange one is where you see the most number of its demographic or generation being in each platform. Why this is important is, let's say if you are selling some products or service to age 54, 50, 45, 54, and you're spending a lot of your energy and time creating content in X or Twitter, then you won't see the right results because you won't find the right target audience is not in the right platform. So we need to better understand where our target audience is spending a lot of time. The next step to understanding and choosing the right platform is defining the goals. Goals can be segmented into 4 different parts. The first one is brand awareness. Second one is lead generation, followed by customer engagement, and lastly is thought leadership. Brand awareness is all about making your audience recognize your brand. You see a lot of ads. I really like this example of Coca-Cola, where they are a brand that's a very global brand that's all in almost all the countries globally, but they still do brand awareness campaign. The only reason is what we call brand recall, and they understand the importance of brand awareness. So even in social media, you see a lot of ads just popping up, even if you see them again and again, the brands, it's just to make you guys recognize and have that instill in the back of your mind. The second one is lead generation. If your goal is to find and attract people that you want to do business with, then the platform that will be chosen would be completely different. I'll give you some examples later on. And the third one is customer engagement. If you guys are trying to build a community, then interaction and engagements is a very important part. So interaction and connection for a customer has to be built across different touch points. So using different social media platforms for each different customer segmentation is important. And the lastly for the goals is being a thought leader. Thought leader for in this day and age, personal brand is it's all-time high. Most people are putting out content, could be sharing content, but they are becoming and recognizing being in a place of authority. So when you're defining the goal, based on your goal, you can choose the right platform. These are just some examples of which would be the right platform, but you also need to understand where your audience spends most of the time. If your audience is spending, if your audience is Gen Z and they spend most of their time in Instagram and you're starting to run ads on YouTube or even TikTok, that does not align with where most of your audience is spending time. So, understanding the right target audience and where they spend their time, in addition to understanding your goal, what your goal is, will give you on what platform you need to spend most time in terms of creating content or running ads. Now we know which platform to choose based on the target audience and the goal we have. So, how do we start creating content? When we do content creation, we use something called content pillars. What content pillars are is basically 3 or 4 different topics that your content is based on, focusing on the offer, the value, or even the solution that you provide to the audience. The content pillars are then can be divided into 4 different types. The first one is education, entertain, either you educate, either you entertain, excite, or encourage. These are just broken down pillars. You can use all of them, but it needs to be in a moderation. We usually recommend 80-20 rule. If you even you can educate, you can entertain, but when you are promoting, just do 20% of promotion and 80% of the education part of it. Education, entertainment, exciting, and encouraging part. We really like to refer this book from Gary Vaynerchuk, which is Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's basically the summary is you give a lot before you ask someone to give you something or buy something from you. So the first part of this is education. You might have been seeing a lot of education content, education related content. Mostly you'll find this type of content in LinkedIn, but you'll also find this in other areas as well. So it's all about educating, informing, and teaching your audience about you and establishing your expertise as a brand or your personal brand. If your goal is being a thought leader in this industry, then focusing more towards education content makes sense. Some of the other example of this pillar would be giving some tips, like 5 tips on making successful content, or 5 tips on guiding your team to their team in the right direction. The second one would be how-tos. You can also do how to climb a tree, how to teach your dog to swim, and followed by facts and figures. The example that we have shown you here is the facts or the infographic. The second one is entertain. This is when you try to understand and build a relationship with your consumer. If your goal is to engage with consumer, using most of your energy in this content pillar makes more sense. So content designed to assume, delight, and connect with your audience on different personal level. It could be through memes or it could be through behind the scenes. You often see a lot of businesses or startups these days. They have started to doing behind the scenes on their day-to-day, day in a life. So these are some of the examples of trying to build a relationship with the customer. Uh, what happens in a long term is the viewer starts to build a parasocial relationship with the content creator, which means they start feeling like they are a part of their business or their life. So when it comes to decision making, then or making a purchase, people are more likely to buy from people they like. The next one is excite. This is more about getting leads and sales. Um, it's more about pushing your offer. we recommend you to do this a little bit lower because usually if we start pushing people to buy more, it feels like uh, being desperate, and people stay away from content similar to that. So you can see an example of this. We have an upcoming webinar, so feel free to join. That would be our promotion content. So if your goal is generating lead, sales, or even doing some promotion, it could be different things uh, related to offers or events or whatever. So if that is the goal, having this content pillar is would be the right path to go. However, we do recommend only focusing on 20% of the content in this. If you're posting 10 content for the whole month, make sure two of those content is promotional content, not the eight. Usually we see a lot of business pushing out eight content that is promotion and only two content that is more educational entertainment or building trust. The next one is encouraging, and it's all about uplifting and motivating uh, your end consumer. It could be through building trust. For example, you can see here, we do hire a lot of interns in a month in our company. So having that testimonials builds trust for interns that are planning to join the business. So encouraging your audience is also a good uh, content pillar to use. So to summarize, to summarize, you can focus your 80% of energy in educating, entertaining, and encouraging, which will give you a lot of uh, re- relationship building with your end consumer. And focus your 20% of your energy in creating content that is exciting. So the tips to get consistent on getting your content would be the first one, you need to choose the right platform. Even before you start being consistent, you need to be in the right platform. Like like we told you, if your audience is spending most of the time in Facebook and you're creating content on YouTube, that does not align. So being in the right platform is the main goal. However, you also need to look at the goal that you have for your business. If your goal is sales and you are on TikTok, yes, that makes sense. But if your goal is entertainment and you are more towards LinkedIn, that does not align with your goal. So please make sure that in mind before you start being more consistent. So the first step is understand and research about different platforms on how you can rank better. For example, if you are in LinkedIn is promoting Reels as well as Carousel. So creating content that favors you as well as the algorithm will help you be more active in different platforms. The only reason is if your content is doing good, you are motivated to create more content, hence you be more consistent. Uh, so the other part would be blocking of time and dates. So this will help you keep creating content and being on track. So we usually recommend, and we also do this, we do batch content creation, which means for example, if we usually create content for the whole month in the beginning of the month. How we do it is we batch create things and we block off time. So if we create content for March, we start creating a content in April. Sorry. If our goal is to create content on April, we start in March. So by the end of March, we already have content that is ready to go on April. So how we do it is we segment different parts. So let's say if you want to create content for your business, you need to do a research first. You need to understand what's the topic that is going around. So we spend 2 days, 3 days gathering that research, putting it together. Then we start scripting it, designing it, and then we go for the approval. Then once the design and content is approved, then we have text that goes with it. Then the next part is having tools that you can schedule content. We are not there spending our day to day posting content on different social media. So different social media, even LinkedIn, uh, Facebook, they have their own scheduling tools. So you can use their native scheduling tools. For example, Facebook has its Meta Business Suite where you can schedule a month worth of content beforehand in both Facebook and Instagram. And the last part of being more consistent is don't try to recreate content again and again. Uh, 9 out of 10 times, people want to see your content again and again. What I mean by that is the content that you post 6 month ago won't be remembered, or most people have even seen it. And in 6 months, you usually tend to grow your audience or you grow your business, which means using that content again and again is a very good idea for you to be more consistent and focus more towards business. And then the last one is what's on your mind. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat.
It's just we're opening this up for Q&A now. So
Yes.
if you got something that you want to ask, I have some questions for Sky. Actually, couple of things that I wanted to add. I know this is about social media one-on-one, but there are some things that more advanced, like social media teams management doing things for various brands. One of them is I wanted to share with you is about Oreo. You can still dunk in the dark. I don't know if you guys ever heard about this. Wait a second. I wonder. Oh, it says I. Okay, it's cutting me off. Hold on a second. Because it says I can only do 1,000 characters per time. So let me give that to you. So basically at a Super Bowl, there was a power outage and Oreos tweeted its viral tweet. They took advantage of the moment and said that you can dunk in the dark because it was just demonstrating, they paying attention to Super Bowl. Super Bowl in the US, for those who have never lived in the US, is a big deal. I think you get something like 3/4 of the television. I don't know if everybody's watching it, but 3/4 of the television, according to the Nielsen rating, are actually watching the Super Bowl. Not because necessarily they're fans of the game, but they could just be betting. That's another thing that Thailand people can, I think, identify with. It just was a viral sensation. So campaigns doesn't have to be like long or like so many months. It could just be that a significant moment where the brand is touching into the hearts of so many people that are tuned into a very big game. I wanted to give that example. Recently, what got my attention over the weekend, I love to watch movie trailers because maybe I'm old school and I like to see what is coming up next. And recently, I think there was a picture of Salma Hayek. She's a famous Mexican American actress, and it says she's been arrested. I was like, what? Why did she get arrested? She seems so, so I don't know, like such a nice person. What was she done? Maybe it was an accident or a misunderstanding. I clicked and I fell into a little bit of a clickbait situation. And actually, she went to a concert with her daughter. And the person who did a citizen arrest on her was Sabrina Carpenter, the singer who was on the stage, said, "Oh, I'm arresting Salma Hayek for being too hot and coming to my concert." So there are many ways to play with social media. So I just wanted to share some of those examples for you. If you got questions for Sky, feel free to shoot them over. But in the meantime, I'm gonna take you through some of the questions that
when you ask
we had gotten before. Okay, What social media platform is the easiest to begin with, Sky?
It really depends, like we mentioned in this webinar, it really depends on what your goal is and what kind of audience that you are targeting. In terms of creating content, that again, it really depends on what kind of person are you. Are you someone who really likes to write? Then if so, then LinkedIn is a good platform. If you're a business owner, LinkedIn would be a good platform for you because it supports a lot of character. Also, Facebook and Facebook groups would be really good for you. So you really need to understand your point of view as well. Are you able to create content, or what kind of content are you able to create? If you are someone who takes a lot of pictures, or you are good with videography, then platform like TikTok, Instagram, and even YouTube is a very good platform for you. So the answer would be depends on what you are and what's your goal would be.
Okay. How do I know if my targeted audience is predominantly on IG, Facebook, or TikTok?
So there are a few ways you can do this research. Uh, the first one would be using AIs. You can use DeepSeek, you can use ChatGPT or Gemini to get your research. However, you need to validate those research with reputable source. Some of the reputable source in the industry of marketing would be SEMrush is a very good source because they work with a lot of data. The other one would be Sprout Social, Exploding Topics. There are a bunch more. However, please make sure when you are making this kind of decision, double check your data. Uh, the main part where you can do this would be inside their native platforms about section or inside the newsroom. They always publish what kind of audience they have. Uh, Also, if you're not sure of uh, what, okay, so this is, I think, going to be more in detail. It's not going to just going to be 101, but let's say a 201 of this would be the platform you choose versus the audience you are able to create in your profile would be a little bit different. So you can also go inside the insight section on your Instagram, your analytical tool inside your LinkedIn to better understand what kind of audience you have. If you don't have that, then we need to start uh, having that right approach or the right strategy on getting that kind of audience.
What's the easiest type of content to create when just starting out?
I think it depends. For me, I personally like creating graphics. So that is my stress buster as well as content creation at the same time. So for me, that would be a great starting point. But I see a lot of people who really like typing. So again, the text-based format supported by uh, Twitter or X, LinkedIn, Threads would be the right platform for them.
Hmm. So should I just post photos, videos, or just text updates? Do you
Again,
have
going back,
like a recommendation, of what it should be?
it there's two answers for this. It depends on what your goal is and the platform you're using. Usually, when you're using a platform, the main goal of the platform is to tuck you in as much as possible and spend more time as possible. The way they do it is through different features. And if you are in front of line, uh, using these kind of new updates, then the algorithm pushes more of your content. For example, uh, so recently Instagram they switch their format from uh, reels. Carousel to reels, like pictures to reels. They are driving more towards video based content. So if you start creating more video based content, then the algorithm supports you more. Does that answer your question?
Yep. What hashtags? Are hashtags still relevant? Should we still be hashtagging our content?
Not really, because this was directly from the CEO of Instagram. Because the AI is very smart these days. So you don't really have to hashtag it because now the AI can understand what is happening in the image itself. Before in the past, not really. It was not able to do so. So having that hashtag did help. But now the search engine as well as the image identification has gone so vastly smarter. You don't have to. If you want to, you can, but there is not much of an advantage.
Mm.
I'm talking about Instagram mainly.
What about other platforms? Do you think they still use hashtags? Is still relevant on other platforms like YouTube and Facebook and
You
TikTok?
can you can use hashtags to segment your audience again, right? Like usually, because that would be better for SEO. If you have that hashtag, I think it would benefit you in other platforms. If it's more towards written based and just segmenting your content, if you, let's say, if you have a 300 or 200 word text written out, just summarizing into like three different groups, like a big topic, subtopic, and the main key takeaway, that will help to segment that audience and push that content towards the right audience.
Mm. Jamie asked, do you have a graphic creator tool or feature recommendation?
When you say graphic creator tool, do you mean a content creation tool?
Let's start with content creation tool, and then let's see
Okay.
if Jamie will have a follow-up question.
So mm, it depends on what kind of content you want to create again. But mainly Canva would do for the 90% of audience out there. Uh, However, you can create your own templates. If you are not able to create your own templates, the one thing you can do to uh, stand out in the audience is using uh, your own or brand color theme again and again. Because then you start building a brand. Uh, the other one would be font. Those two are would be the easiest way you can start building a brand. So usually you see if any content is coming out from brand now, it's usually purple in color. So
Yep.
that is how we have done that. You can always try sticking it with like two or three different variation of the same theme, so you are aligned and like people can recognize you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, especially when the second question about features, so for example, on Instagram, you see quite some
I'm so sorry, I'm not able to hear you properly.
Not able to, I mean, we hear you, but it's muffled.
Muffled, yeah.
Yeah.
with my headphones.
I wonder if it's the mic or the headset.
Mhm.
While you're adjusting that, Jamie, let me ask the next question. How can I plan my content so I don't run out of ideas? I think this is often a fear for some people.
Yes. So to answer this, we can go back to the content pillars. You can usually, firstly, you need to understand your personal bandwidth or your team's bandwidth. Are you able to create content daily, weekly, or bi-weekly? It really depends on you first. Don't try to overcommit. Even I have faced that challenge. What happens is like, yeah, I want to create content every day, but that does not happen in the real world because life happens, work happens, sometimes you get sick. But what happens then is you start losing that motivation or the ball. It's very hard to push that ball once it stops.
Okay.
Yeah. So going back to the content pillars, uh, you can always do research on your competition. Usually, how I do it is like pick 5 to 10 people that are really doing the best in your audience or your niche. Then take those um, content. Because usually you see people talking about like 90% of content that you see in the internet, it's usually generic and it's usually just a mix and match of two or three different content in one. You can pick that, put your twist, or add something from your experience, which will give you a different perspective in that as well.
Okay. Jamie has a follow-up question, Sky. She wrote, the feature question was regarding the Instagram example, how to copy like trending video styles.
Oh, usually I know someone in terms of video, right? When you're talking about video style, do you mean edit style or do you mean edit style, right? So there are a lot of different tutorial channels inside Instagram that can help you guide what kind of things are trending or what kind of content is trending. They usually daily post on different edit style, like how you can edit, or like they just break down editing, what kind of edit is being done. Like it's like a small tutorial. It's about 60 seconds or 30 seconds. They will like click this, click that, and do something like this. They usually give an example of CapCut.
Mhm. That's a good segue into the next question is, what are some of the simple video editing apps for beginners who want to start making video content?
I think starting out, CapCut would be the easiest because you can do it from your phone, from your desktop. You don't need to really download it. However, Instagram came up with another editing tool called Shots. Maybe you can try that. I personally have not tried it yet. I'll do it very soon.
Mm,
But yeah, I heard it's very similar to CapCut and they have a lot of new features in it.
that's nice. Okay,
So that could be a good starting point.
okay. The next question is, how can I repurpose content across different social media platforms without creating so much extra work for myself?
So the main purpose of repurposing content is not to think about creating new content, right?
Mhm.
Usually, if you create a video, then it's very easy for you to repurpose that content. Or if you create a blog post, it's very easy to repurpose that content. For example, if you created for Social Media 101, a blog post that's 500 words long, you break that up into different videos. You can segment that into 5 or 6 different videos. Then you have 5 different videos. And when you give examples, you always have stats or infographics, then those would be a different content of itself. So now you have 5 different videos, 6, 7 different infographics, as well as you can also have quotes in there. So from one content, you've already created a month's worth of content.
Mhm. How often should I be posting?
Depends what your goal is and depends what your bandwidth is. Don't try to overcome it because once you overcome it, it's going to be very hard for you to push it through. And if you're not able to do it, like commit to it, then usually people start not posting it, and you lose a lot of traction.
What is the average just starting out? Any recommendation for the frequency?
Depends on the platform. Instagram, Instagram and LinkedIn, they prefer usually 3 content a week, at least 2 to 3 content a week. For Instagram specifically, they prefer you or the content creator have at least 1 or 2 different stories every day. It could be a picture of your coffee or anything, but that would be in the story section. In terms of feed, 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay, so does that then average out to 1 post per day?
No, 2 posts a week. So 4 posts a month. At least that would be the minimum. No, I mean 8 posts a month minimum.
But when you add in the story, is that still
Oh yeah,
being the number?
yeah. But stories are relatively low effort content. Yeah, it depends on the content creator as well. If they want to put high quality stories, then that's the other thing. But usually, people just take pictures of their coffee, work that they are doing, just behind the scenes, just to build that relationship. And you can use that as a content builder as well.
So for those who may not even be on a social media yet, what's the difference between a post and a story in Instagram?
Oh yes. So the story feature, Instagram, LinkedIn also came up with this, but I think they removed it. It's region locked in different geographic. So stories are posts that last for 24 hours. After 24 hours, it disappears. However, feed is they stay there for until and unless you delete it.
Okay, so this will be the last question. Jimmy asked, is it advisable to stay on the theme across all platforms? Example, one theme per month?
When you say theme, are you referring to a topic or are you referring to a color palette?
She wrote dyspraxia topic.
A topic. I think what you can do is you can break that topic. If you are in a health and wellness space, right? You can talk about, let's say, if you are a fitness instructor or trainer, you can have 3 or 4 different topics that you can talk about. The first one would be food. The second one would be, it can be about a weight training, and it can be things you should not be doing, or food, or like one is food, then the other would be supplements. So you can break those top topic down. What the reason for doing this is, one, you have enough content each week or each week to understand, or like audience are able to see that content so it stays top of the mind. If you do it month by month basis, people will forget it. And the research says, like, usually we see 3,000 to or 6,000 to 10,000 ads per day. So just basis on that, it's advisable just to have, like, pick 3 or 4 different topics that you are interested or that you want to communicate in, and segment it weekly would be the right offer. And we do that as well. So we don't usually focus on one topic. We separate it out for the whole month. Or we usually do it for the whole year because we have different ICPs or customer segmentation.
For those who haven't come across the word the abbreviation ICP, it stands for Ideal Customer Profile. So we have, like, I think 5 around there, 5, 6.
5, 6, yeah.
Yeah, that are ICP. So, and it's based on the clients that we regularly serve, and it makes our process like a lot easier because they have special requirements for the marketing and PR services. I have one last question that just snuck in, Sky. So Kun Son asked, if a business is doing a clearance sale, do you recommending posting promotions one at a time or all together in 1 week? If together, do you think it will cause information overload? Please suggest 5 main points as to what to keep in each post to avoid overloading and increasing effectiveness.
So my suggestion to that would be segmenting the content itself. Rather than posting everything at once, you can post it throughout the day. Like in the morning, let's say, for example, you are in technology, or like you have a mobile laptop camera shop, right? In the morning, you can do camera. Then in the afternoon, you can post all the laptops that you have. Then later, you can have the phones that you have. So you just segment it out. You can bundle even in Instagram nowadays, you can post 20 pictures at once. Before it was 10. So you can have that 20 pictures at once, followed by 20 pictures. I've also seen, it really depends on what kind of business you are in and how interactive or how much engagement your customer has. Because I've seen a lot of secondhand phone companies or businesses, they post every 5 to 10 minutes, and even in that frequency, people usually, like, they sell out very fast. But the reason is they have the right product for the right market, the right platform, and the price and the offer is really good. So it really depends on how you are putting it. The other thing is, you usually see this in Facebook, where you see sale coming up in Mega Bangna and you have like 30% sale as the main highlight two pictures, and they have like 30 plus pictures in the back end. You can also have that in that sequence.
Mhm. Okay, so we're just wrapping up now because it's around 3:06. I know other people may have, okay, welcome, Kunson, other meetings to go to. I do want to add on to what Sky had just mentioned about the way like Mega Bangna has done their promotion. And I've seen this at the weekend market as well as in these pop-up shops like K Village. Or the one that, you know, the promotional space between the two buildings of Importier. So what they do is they do a teaser saying that they're going to have a flash sale. And then what they do is then they have the camera going around and then they label the items for flash sale, but they do select them by category. So they don't mix all the categories together. So there was this home decor shop that I saw, which is not in the main section of Jaruchak, but it's in the side section where there's like a lot of home, you know, from like candle holders that like stand from the floor up, these kind of things, to having lamps. So they'll go section by section and say, oh, you know, in this section, what we have as part of our flash sale is this one, you know, and then they would give an information in regards to it, and then they let the people bid. Because there was a flash sale that had a bidding process in there, and then the one that gave the best price was the one that would win the bid. So that I thought that was interesting because I just watched them do it for a time, and then I went to ask the lady's colleague as to what she was doing because they needed to clear out some stock. So I just remember that. May I ask?
Yeah,
Way to
I'd like to add more on that. I think the other part of this would be because social media is just one of the channel, right? There are a lot of different channels you can use. You can use PR, you can use influencers. There are so many you can use. You really need to understand the customer buying journey. Let's say if you are a cafe, you do understand. Let's say if 5 people come to grab their coffee, 3 of them will buy a cookie or a bakery item from you. Based on that, we can also have two things together when you are putting out these kind of promotion, because you need to better understand what kind of customer you have and what's their buying habit.
Yep. Okay, so we got 2 more questions. I gotta cut you guys off.
Yeah, for sure.
I do want to let others know if you have other meetings to go to, you can drop off. Just FYI, we will be putting this up in the Spotify podcast because we're testing different platforms as well for ourselves. So Jamie's question was, what is the best platform to sell on social media? And what's the technology behind the bidding process? I think there are several, right, Sky? I remember coming across them. Anyway, can you start with which platform is the best for selling?
Depends what kind of product you are selling and who you are selling to. If it's low, like let's say in Thai market, if it's sub 500, sub 400 product, and you're selling it to TikTok, live selling would be really good because then you have a lot of traction there. Live selling is basically when you go live on TikTok and start selling product. TikTok Shop in recent days have got a lot of traction in the Thai market as well.
Yep. There was I think a Taiwanese, I don't know if there was a bit pre-COVID when they came to us, Jamie, about like social selling software. I'm just having a look. I think probably have to go into do the reviews. We do a lot more B2B than we do in the B2C space. So there's like, if you would type in social selling bidding software, there's a lot of different ones that come up. Basically, it's a form of an API. There's one is called Give, GIV or QGIV. And then there's Bidding Owl, AuctionWorks. Yeah, there's all kinds. I think probably You probably need to go and read about them a little bit and see which one is going to be the most suitable for you, Jamie. Jamie is into making accessories and apparel, and her work is around neurodivergent awareness. Do you want to
that's nice.
share your Instagram or something, Jamie?
Yeah, that would be really nice.
So other people can get to know your brand. Your other people are also welcome to share your brand as well if you like to introduce that. Since
Yeah.
I also asked if you guys want to share your LinkedIn and stuff, you just type it into the chat and people can go and have a look. We can send it back to you guys as well,
Yeah.
for
I think
reference.
so, Jamie, if you have a target audience, or like if you're working towards neurodivergent people and working in handicraft, or I mean jewelries, then you have a lot of different potential because you can do a lot of behind the scene process. You can just have their phone there, record what you're doing, and just post that on social media. That would be the best format for you. Because that builds customer relationship. You can also go live and start building something and answer some people's question. That builds connection with your brand.
Yep. The other thing that, yeah, try to experiment. There we go, Advocate Apparel. Try to experiment sometime if you don't have enough data. You can just schedule. We do this sometime as well, just ourselves like, okay, we had people say, do a webinar at lunchtime, and we tried that once, but we actually even had less people. The only thing I think we didn't try to do yet is like early in the morning and in the evening. I think that might be a little bit difficult for the team, but that may be something that we could also try in the future. Let's say if we start like a webinar at like 7 or something, assuming people will just, would have gotten home like around 6:30, had dinner, and then ready for a webinar come 7 or 7:30. So yeah, just try different things. So if you're gonna do a live, you might want to say, okay, I'm gonna experiment this week live in the morning, or live at lunchtime, or live, in the evening.
Also, inside Facebook and Instagram, there's something called Insight. If you go in the settings, it will show you what time your audience is active, your specific audience, people interacting with your content. So you can just be live 30 minutes, 15 minutes before that, just to get prepping, because they will get a notification.
Yes. Also, because we worked across multiple software, the one that we've been using is called Metricool, but there's many others like Hootsuite, and a lot of these guys, they will give you like freemium, meaning if you're only using, I think, two or three platform, you can use that platform as a freemium. But we're working across like 8, so we can't do a freemium. It doesn't work for us. So then you can try on those times. And once you plug in your channel and verified and validated, they will also tell you when do you have, besides the Meta system and other system, they'll also tell you when you have the most visitors. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes it's a little bit of trial and error to see when it's gonna yield the best results. So yeah, have a try and see how it goes. So want to thank everybody for coming in, and thanks Guy for putting this together. I think it was fun to watch him be at the front, so I can do a little bit more work and behind the scene as well with other teams, and hopefully he'll talk more about other things about online marketing and stuff. So don't forget, our next webinar is going to be on the 20th, and that's going to be about ESG. What are you showing, Sky?
This is for Jamie, where
the
she
insight.
can.
So she can, when she looks in the back of her system, what she's looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have this event, and we have Fast Fetch.
We have this one.
Yep, we have Fast Fetch, and we have the mastermind. Yes, and the mastermind is if you're an entrepreneur and you're still working on your money mindset and momentum to grow your business, then definitely you should be joining us. So Dr. Joanne, she's an educator and a money coach. She's going to be giving a 45-minute talk about that and a 15-minute Q&A before we break out into the mastermind session. So yeah, welcome you, and please tell a friend. We look forward to having you all join us. Is that your LinkedIn, Sky?
Yes.
All right, so if you want to connect with Sky, that's his LinkedIn QR code. Thanks everyone for joining us today, and have a great day. Sawasdee ka.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.